Silence is precious and has an amazing effect on your mind. Being in silence has the ability to restore our mental resources, help activate our brain's default mode network, which is daydreaming, meditating, fantasizing, self-reflection, and actually regenerates brain cells. I don't have to tell you that it relieves stress and tension. You can feel it, and it's undeniable. When we're in silence, we have the space to dream and live in a relaxed state of heightened awareness. Have you found yourself in this space? Quite often this place is in nature, and when you find it, it's like stumbling on a sacred gem. Hi, I'm Duncan from Nature Connection Guide. I'm here at Kingsland Bay State Park, one of the many beautiful state parks in Vermont. And I found a wonderful place for a sit spot. A place where I can sit and be in the presence of nature and experience nature through all of the senses. So what I've encountered here is a little bit of man-made noise. It's otherwise known as anthrophone, which is the human-made soundscape. So I'd like to offer mindfulness techniques for you to try if you encounter something like this at your next sit spot. So what is silence? I'll define it, and I'll reference Gordon Hempton, who's an acoustic ecologist. And he goes around the world and he records the sounds of nature and the silence of nature. And I'll have a link down below. So I'll quote him. And he says, "When I speak of silence, I often use it synonymously with quiet. I mean silence from modern life, silence from all these sounds that have nothing to do with the natural acoustic system." So that's silence. And finding these areas is wonderful. And it's becoming increasingly rare. You're likely to encounter man-made noise. So the first technique I'd like to offer is acceptance. When we practice acceptance of all that is, we tend to find a more peaceful experience, a peaceful way of being. So the next time you encounter a noise that you dislike, just take notice, embrace it, and resist the temptation of judging it as a good or bad sound. And see how you feel. Reframing. What I mean by this is something you can try is if a man-made noise happens, you could change your story about that noise. So for example, here I have some motorboats passing by while I'm here listening to the sounds around me. And if a negative reaction comes up within me, I could try to think about the people on that boat having a wonderful, beautiful time with their family and enjoying the lake with each other and with love. So that's more of a positive spin on, say, a story that I could be telling myself and making myself a little upset would be, man, that's a loud motor that they have on that boat, disturbing the peace. So just, you see the difference there? There's two different stories. So you could try this yourself. Another reframing technique could be that other people have used on my forest bathing walks. Say the sounds of traffic are distant. You could reframe those sounds to be sounds of the waves or the wind. So if those sounds are similar, you could reassociate the cause of those sounds. Another thing to try and to keep in mind is ephemerality, and all that is around you is temporary, and this too shall pass. So next time you hear noise, you may take solace in thinking that and knowing that it will pass and it's not going to be your experience forever. But there's a catch here. If you find yourself waiting for that noise to pass, then you are putting your mind and you're focusing in a future outcome. So that will pull you out of being in the present, and so just keep that in mind when you try this technique yourself. Another technique you could try is redirecting your attention. So there are a couple different ways we can try this. If a noise is bothersome to you, redirect your attention and your focus towards a sound that is more soothing or more pleasurable for you. For example, if a airplane noise is bothering you, you could simply direct your attention towards another sound that you enjoy or feels good to you, like the sound of the wind or the sounds of the birds around you or a babbling brook beside you. And the other way you can redirect your attention is through experiencing the world and through a different sense other than sound. So if it helps you, you could experience touch, for example, and bring your awareness towards touch. So you could pick up some soil, or you could pick up some leaves and just feel the texture of those leaves. And so that way you can bring your attention away from that sound that is troubling you and towards an experience that is has a nicer effect. So the last technique I'd like for you to consider is to adjust. So if none of these techniques are working for you, you can always move, and you can always find an area that doesn't have that sound that is troubling you. So the more you learn about the landscape and read the landscape, you could even find areas within that landscape that is sheltered from the sounds that are troubling you. So it could be by a stream where the sounds of the water override other sounds, or it could be in a gully or behind a little cliff band. So you learn to read the landscape, and you also learn which times perhaps these man-made noise are more prevalent. So now that I've offered some of these techniques for you to perhaps try the next time you're forest bathing, either alone or with a nature and forest therapy guide, I wish you a wonderful experience, and may the forest be with you.